sick and tired of your love-hate relationship with wine?
Welcome to the Feel It Alcohol-Free podcast. Hi, I'm Coach Ruby Williams.
And I'm Coach Susan Larkin.
We're two former wine lovers turned alcohol freedom coaches, exposing the lies about alcohol.
And giving you, our listeners, the tools to break free so you can feel lit.
And when you're lit, you'll feel healthier, freer, and more in control of your life.
So relax, kick back, and get ready to feel lit alcohol-free.
And don't forget, grab a copy of our wine-free weekend guide after the show.
Hello, welcome.
Hello.
So excited to be here again. We are having so much fun with this podcast, and we are loving all of our new listeners. We've had quite a few downloads, and we're just so excited. It's just so exciting for us. We're just like, woo, people are liking it.
Wow.
Like every time somebody says they like it, I'm like, you like it? Oh my gosh, thank you. So it just makes us feel so good and makes us just feel like we're doing good work, which I think we are. So that's really awesome. Yeah.
Just getting the message out is just what we want, and maybe helping to change the trajectory of lives.
Yeah. Which is pretty big. Yeah. So another life that has written in and given us a question that we're going to answer today, which is a common thing we hear a lot in our coaching, right, Ruby?
Yes. And I can relate to this question big time.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to read the question, which is, I went over 30 days about a year and a half ago. I'm losing control again. I have been for a while. Need to just stop. Ugh, I can feel the pain, right? I want to be the best me I can be without alcohol keeping me from achieving it. I've realized that boredom is a huge trigger for me as I sat here on a normal day on my normal day drinking Saturday. What strategies can help me cope with boredom, especially during the times when I drink out of being bored? So Ruby, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I want to first, I think it's always a good idea to kind of delve into the science a little bit. I like to do that. So psychologically and neurologically, alcohol is definitely impacting our brains, and I'll just shed some light into why it can lead to this feeling of boredom. Alcohol affects the brain's reward system by releasing dopamine, and it creates a temporary sense of pleasure and satisfaction, that dopamine. However, over time, the brain starts to associate alcohol with pleasure and other activities without it. It seems like things are just less rewarding. Our regular things are just less rewarding. So this can lead to a cycle where non-alcoholic activities feel dull because the brain's threshold for pleasure has been artificially raised. And it makes it harder to find the joy in simpler everyday experiences. So let me give you an example would be let's think of someone who enjoys painting, and initially they find it relaxing and fulfilling to paint. It's like something they love. But if they start drinking regularly, they might begin to feel that painting is less enjoyable without a drink. And as the alcohol starts to alter your brain and your reward response, it just feels like less fun to do the fun things. I love hiking, and I get that natural high from exercising and hiking and being out in nature. But eventually that just doesn't compare to that buzz you're getting from alcohol because it's so artificially high. I mean, there's nothing in nature that gets your dopamine raised that artificially high. It's so high. And then you have that, low afterwards. And, you start to instead of hiking or exercising, you want to just drink. I hear this all the time. I used to run in the mornings, or I used to hike in the afternoons or whatever. So you start to yearn for the drink, and then you shift. And this can then be of a cycle that just, and alcohol only starts to provide what you think is not boredom, right? It's like, so for my story, okay, I want to just share a little bit about me because I really, really relate to this. Like bored would pop into my head. It would just literally, it was like almost like seeing the sentence, I'm bored. And the very next millisecond was drink. Like that was like, there was no even gap in time. But when I think back now, it's kind of interesting. I realized that I was the most boring person drinking. Like not only did I drink because I thought I was bored, but the things I did once I started drinking were just like watching TV or staying home. So it's so interesting. I love this topic. We have a really great episode for you now that I've gone to the science. So Susan, why do we think boredom is so bad? Like boredom, bad?
Yeah. Well, I think that in our culture, we've been kind of taught that being bored is bad. Like, for example, when you are a kid and you're like, I'm bored, at least in my family, it would be like, well, I'll give you something to do, so it was like, ooh, being bored was bad. You didn't want to tell mom you were bored because then she'll find you something to do, which is usually chores. So it was sort of like, it was negative to go to your mom and say, or your parents and say, we were bored. And I also remember I have this great story from my French teacher, and she was from France, and she was always like, oh, you American children, you're always saying you're bored. She goes, in French, I am bored. Je m'ennuie means I bore myself. And then it's like, oh, okay. So that's like bad. Like if you bore yourself, then you're boring, just like you said. So there's like a lot of negativity around being bored. I also think that a lot of it is not necessarily that we're bored, but I found this with myself is like I had become through drinking and just the busyness of our culture and life that I'd become very disconnected from myself. Mm-hmm. And then to this listener's point, like I'd find myself with a little bit of extra time on a Saturday afternoon and I wouldn't know what to do with myself. And that would make me anxious. And then that would make me drink. So just being disconnected from ourselves and not used to being with myself, and then having unsupportive coping mechanisms, because my only coping mechanism was drinking, then I would just reach for a drink and day drinking, on the weekends when I would be bored. And so, yeah, but actually, again, to the science, there is an upside to boredom. There is good that can come from being bored. And scientifically, boredom boosts our creativity and allows for curiosity. So when you're bored, if you can just get a little curious, and curiosity is one of those words we use all the time. It's part of the alcohol-free journey. So if all of a sudden you're bored, you can be like, oh, what's going on? Why? Oh, I'm feeling a little bored, and get curious about it and just allow yourself to just kind of be bored. It can lead to important breakthroughs, maybe on a personal level. It can give you some insight. Maybe to try new things, right? Can give you a little kick in the butt of like, well, maybe I'll try this or maybe I'll try that. So, what do you think, Ruby?
Yeah, the upside to boredom. Boredom really can be a good thing. Like it really can. Like it can prompt us to seek out new experiences and hobbies or challenges. And it can actually be a signal that our current activities or whatever we're doing or our environment is not stimulating enough. Like it's there to inform us. If that word pops into your mind, it's a place to possibly expand or be creative, like you said, or discover yourself, or use this as an opportunity for personal growth. And I think you kind of moving through the boredom is where you can actually find a really rich life. I think it's part of this whole alcohol-free journey. I think is figuring this boredom piece out and maybe changing. We talk about turnarounds or shifts, and boredom is bad to how about boredom is good. And
or if you're not ready for that complete turnaround, it's like, I'm curious about what could be good about being bored. I think also sometimes this just came to me. We can conflate boredom with just being uncomfortable with relaxation. Like I'm not good at relaxing. I'm just not. I need to I do need to can even now still work on this. But I think especially in the beginning, if I was conflating just the, a natural rest and relaxation state that I was not used to being in with being bored, it would make me anxious to have nothing to do. And naturally, in my alcohol-free journey, because it was during COVID, there wasn't that much to do. But there was a piece about it because you couldn't go do anything. So there wasn't that pressure of I should be doing something. That's the pressure I always put on myself. So I would have this time in the afternoons and I wasn't drinking and I would just be wandering around the yard because basically that was the only place I could go, right? During COVID. And I was so grateful to have a yard. And then I would just sort of wander around. And then one day I found like these flagstones that were like under the deck. And I'm like, oh, and I started pulling them out. And then I started making a little path around my garden. I didn't have that as a plan to do. That just came out of me just having this time being bored and just wandering around my yard. And then I found something to do, which was, make this little path. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, being bored is actually, I think it's something really important. We were having a little chat earlier before the episode around children and actually if we're so busy as adults or children and we're just go, doing our to-do list, doing our chore list, work. And then we, I think about it like those the parents that just have their kids, doing one activity to the next activity. But there's something so beautiful to being bored. And like you just said, what comes out of that is creativity a lot of times. And maybe something really profound or new, or you experience something new, a new hobby, I don't know. You can even with your phone, you can go down like rabbit holes, which are really fun. But I really want to talk about this. You're like, well, how? Because the original question is like, what was the actual question? Like, how can I, like, what's a tool?
What strategies can help me cope with boredom, especially
Yes.
during the times when I drink out of being bored? So what are some strategies? And I know you have one, Ruby.
Yes, I have a good one. I love this strategy. I call it my 4 boredom buckets lists. So like boredom, whenever boredom pops in your mind, I want you to go to this list that you're going to prepare. And I want this list to be big if you can, like meaning put even some crazy stuff on there that you don't think is even possible, but just for fun. So the 4 buckets are, I'll say them first and then we'll go through each one. So self-care.
Okay.
Like friendships or connection or community, whatever you want to, like friends and, people. Projects and hobbies is number 3. And the 4th one is like move your body in some way. So like get up and do something, right? So for self-care, you can ask yourself this question: what do I find that's soothing and comforting? And it's not all about like getting a pedicure or having a spa day. Self-care is just, we talk about it a lot, but it's so much more than it's that relaxation piece that you were talking about earlier, Susan. Like self-care, what's soothing, what's comforting. I want to get what are your like top 2 or 3 self-care, Susan?
Self-care, what I would do is I like reading. Reading that's an ing activity that could also be in like an activity. Self-care, oh my gosh, I probably need to work on this. You're stumping me, Ruby. I probably need to work on my self-care. I go for a walk. If I feel like I'm anxious or I need self-care in the moment, walking with no podcasts, no nothing, just being out in nature is my self-care. Like I just love being outside and in nature. I would go do feet up the wall maybe if I can't go outside, doing a little yoga snack, just move my body with, I call a snack is like a 10 to 15 minute yoga session. Doing your nails and stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes doing my nails feels more like a chore than self-care.
Right.
So.
My latest kind of self-care is anytime I can find like just 5 minutes. I have a deck now right out here. And I just, for 5 minutes, I like sit in the sun and I just let the sun kind of bathe me. And oh my gosh, that to me is like so soothing and comforting. Anyway, I can't wait to hear your list. Like, join our Facebook group and let's post some of these ideas. But okay, so friendship, community, connection, that's number 2. So some ideas I have are like call a friend or put a coffee date with a friend on your calendar. What ideas do you have, Susan?
Yeah, all of my family's out in California. So then it's like, oh, I haven't talked to my sister for a while. I could call her, call my mom, text my daughter. She doesn't answer her phone very often. So I text her. Yeah, connecting with my family, I think is really important to me. And I am super busy right now. It's really funny that I'm like self-care. I don't know. I don't have any.
Well, you go through those periods of
I
time.
know. Yeah. So yeah, calling and connecting with, I have a friend that we love to just go on walks and hikes and, reaching out. Yeah. Reaching
and these
out
alcohol-free communities can really be, so you don't feel so alone, if you're involved in any alcohol-free communities or like our Facebook group, like I said. So let's go on to number 3, projects and hobbies. So the questions you could ask yourself are like, what did I used to like to do? Like think back before drinking, maybe, or what are some fun things that you would like to try? Maybe something might be on your bucket list. Like put it down. Like I want to learn how to surf. I put it down.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But
I think that's great. Yeah. I had a client who just recently flew, went into those chambers where they're the zero gravity and the air that lifts you up, and was flying and posted a picture and looked like a superhero. She looked like, Superwoman, flying.
That's so cool.
Yeah. It was really neat. It was really, but that's not something I would ever think of, but it's like, I really want to try one of those, floating pools where what do they call zero gravity floating pools? The salt pool where you lay there, where it's sensory deprivation. It's all dark, or there's just little stars and you lay there. I've never tried that. So putting that on the list, I would really
I've
like
done
to try
that.
Have you?
I've done it. Yeah. I used to do it all the time, until it closed down. It closed down during COVID in our town. But how fun. What I hear oftentimes is once you really think about projects and hobbies, or maybe, for example, you used to play the violin or you used to go hiking. I mentioned hiking earlier, or just what have you dropped off your radar after drinking? It might kind of surprise you and maybe make you a little sad. Oh my gosh, I used to paint, or I used to whatever it is. And so I want you to, again, we're just creating the list right now.
Yes. So I want to learn. I did sort of teach myself how to play piano. Now I'm between piano and guitar because I want to be able to play and sing.
Cool.
So whichever one's easier. I'm not sure between guitar and piano which one I could learn easy enough to be able to sing and play at the same time. So that's when I retire. That is one of the things that I'm going to look forward to doing.
So cool, Susan.
So you have so much more
You have a beautiful
time.
voice. And the reason why I know this
How do you know this?
is we shared a hotel room and she was singing all the time. You don't know that, but you sing all the time, Susan. You just sing little songs and it's beautiful. But and then number 4. So again, you're going to picture a piece of paper and you're going to have 4 columns. Yeah. And then the last one is moving your body. You could see it as exercise, but it's really moving your body. I love yoga and walking. The pickleball's the new rage. I mean, what would you put on yours, Susan?
Yeah, pickleball. We just started trying, and it actually is easy enough to where you can get good enough to play with people pretty quickly. So that's been really fun. Yeah, just a short walk. Yoga. I love yoga. Just putting music on and dancing around a little bit. One time I was doing that, and then my husband walked in and I'm like, hello. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, dancing. No
one's watching.
Yeah. And that was kind of fun. Yeah. What else? Move, just move. Yeah. You don't have, doesn't have
Move
to
your body.
be like exercise, like quote unquote, like I'm going out for this big power walk
Right.
or anything.
I love move your body rather than exercise. Because
Yeah.
to me, exercise is like work, sweat. You know, I like to do the things where I don't have to sweat that much necessarily. But
yeah.
okay, so then you got your
I have
list.
one. Wait.
Oh,
what
one
about
more?
wandering? I have a good. What about wandering? Just wandering around your backyard or wandering around the neighborhood, looking at rocks. Like that's when I put I've been doing this practice where I put my feet in the grass, which you talked about. You know, earthing, and I've been doing it. So I've been going out and doing it and putting my feet in the grass, and then I just wander around, and then I find myself weeding, and oh, there's a weed, and I pull that, but I just wander around. I just wander. It feels very relaxing. It's kind of fun. Yeah.
Because again, we're so busy that it's different to like wander and have that time that we're technically bored, but where creativity or relaxation really can get into our bodies inside.
Yes.
So you've got this big list. Yeah. Add even more. What if you could have like 20 things or more for each of those categories, like all the different people you could call for or maybe you have a church group or a book club group, or you could just all the different communities and people and all the different projects, even put things like clean out my closet, because when you stop drinking, you're going to have so much more energy to actually do all of these things that you're going to put on your list. So then here's the trick. You have your list out, and when that pops into your head, it is just like, I'm bored. Just like pops into your head. And that's when you're going to
drink. So instead of drink, you're going to go to this list.
You look at the list, and you're going to, whatever calls you, whether it's move your body is calling you, or you really need to talk to a friend is calling you, which one of those, or self-care or move your body. So you're going to just pick something. And if it pops into your head again, go back to the list. Pick something else. Keep adding to it. You can make this list super long. Yeah. So that is the tactic or tip or strategy that we were going to share with you today.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I love it. I love having suggestions, because when you're a little bit hijacked, right? If that bored thought comes in and then you think to drink, and then you kind of have a craving, right? Because that's sort of how it works. The cue is the thought, I'm bored. And then you get the craving of, oh, I drink when I'm bored, if that's the cycle that we're trying to break here. And in those moments, you don't necessarily have you're in kind of crisis mode in that moment of the craving, and you don't necessarily have all your thinking brain power. So when you just have this visually available to you, and you're just like, pick one.
Pick one.
It's like
another
you don't
thing,
have to think.
Yeah. Another thing you could even do is like put them all on little pieces of paper and pull out of a hat. I've heard of that too. But this way, I think I like having the 4 buckets, because you can really then start to listen within. What do I really need right now? If you're lonely, you might need a friend. Yeah. But if you're, anyway.
That.
So,
well, asking yourself what you really need. So important. Just always when you're drinking, because you're drinking to change the way you feel. Mm-hmm. And this is I think just the fastest way to start to get out of that drinking cycle and that boredom drinking cycle. So we have to interrupt that cycle, interrupt the wheel of self-sabotage going on there, because, this listener is saying, I don't want to drink. I have to stop. And I had been stopped for a while, and now I started up again because of this reason. So there's a self-sabotage going on there.
Yes.
We need to interrupt that. And this is a great way to do that.
It's a game changer. There's many, many, many clients where this was like the tool that really moved them on to the next level of their journey. The next thing, we're picking out all the different things, that beliefs or reasons why you drink or reasons why you cope. And this is how the journey works. It's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah. Drinking is just a maladaptive coping mechanism. Right. And I think an addiction is exactly that. It's that we've used this maladaptive coping mechanism, and we keep using it because the substance that we're using is an addictive substance. And so it gets sticky, and then it repeats itself, and you get onto that wheel of self-sabotage, and then you need these tactics to help interrupt that. I feel like that it just takes the shame and blame, and it just sort of it just makes sense, right? And then it's just like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. So it takes all that, like, I'm a bad person, there's something wrong with me, out of that whole equation. It's just like, oh, I've been using this as a coping mechanism. I need different coping mechanisms.
Yeah,
that are
or
more
if
positive.
And if we go back to the science, it's like, yep, you drank, so your dopamine was raised so high. And then you just can't get that in nature anywhere. So your brain, it creates that cycle. Cycle. And it's truly 100% not your fault. It's not your fault.
And it's reversible, because then once you eliminate alcohol, you start to feel pleasure from these real pleasure, not faux pleasure of the high dopamine hit. You start to feel real pleasure when I'm out in nature with my feet in the grass, when I hear the birds. I love hearing the birds. We have crazy birds around here. Sometimes they're like fighting and you just take the time to listen to them. I'm like, they're having a conversation over there. What is going on? Or just seeing the beautiful flowers blooming, at this time of year, and just all of a sudden you do feel joy, but sometimes it takes some time. And so that's where the strategies.
There's that adjustment. Yeah. And there's an adjustment period where your dopamine and other brain chemicals need to go back to homeostasis. So, but you just start to notice that you feel better. You feel lit over time.
Wearing her shirt today.
I'm wearing my shirt.
Yay.
Yeah.
I love it. So, yeah. And you can explore. So now you've written this big long list, and then we want to also be curious and see, what do you notice when you do this activity? Does it really bring you a lot of pleasure? Was it fun? Was it, something? So then you can hone your list of like, these are my top 10 here, or these are my top 5 in each of these buckets. These are my go-tos. And then you have your own personalized toolbox for when you need a coping mechanism, because you can use these boredom buckets in other areas too. End of exhausted day, you go, okay, I feel like reaching for a drink. No, I'm going to reach for this instead, one of your buckets. So yeah.
Yes. Buckets.
Really good. Okay, well, feel lit. Ruby, you got the shirt on, and it's your turn to tell us what you do to feel lit. So what do you got for us today?
One of my most favorite things I want to share with you guys, you, Susan, and all the listeners. I've been doing this practice for, I think, about 4.5 years now. Almost every single day, I listen to a guided meditation that's called Today is a New Day. And the whole guided meditation is about 10 minutes, and I'm not going to share the whole thing with you, and you can find these types of guided meditations out on YouTube, and the one I found on Audible. But here, basically, while I'm getting ready, taking a shower, brushing my teeth, getting all ready for the day, I have this going on in the background, and it's words like, today is a new day. You can get stuck in the continuity of what life has offered you so far. And it's hard not to feel that string that holds us to the past and the perceived string that links us to our future. But today is absolutely a fresh start. It's never happened before. It will never happen again. And you can ask yourself, where do I want to go? Where do I want to be? Who do I want to talk to? And instead of just doing the same things every day that you've done yesterday, you can experience the grace of today and say, I am truly blessed to be here today. I get to experience today. And there's so much power in that.
That's great.
Yeah. And you can just ask yourself, the next decision that you make, you can do the things that make you smile and feel good to your core. I know it's not easy if you're going through a rough patch, but today truly is a new day. So it's just kind of that, like, over and over. It's really beautiful because I think we forget that that we really only get today for sure. I mean, most likely we're all going to be here tomorrow, but we're here for sure today. So let's take advantage of today.
Wow. I didn't know that you did that. And we have shared a room, and you've shared, I love the song that you wake up to every morning. unless you've changed it. We should.
I still do
maybe
that.
we can talk
Okay,
about
I'll put that on for another
episode.
Feel It.
Okay. Yeah. I love that song. And it comes up now. I have it on my playlist and it comes up and I love it. Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Doing a guided meditation. I love that. That's today's a new day. There's a tapping exercise too. There's a tapping meditation. That's the same thing. Today's a good day, new day, making it, the best day. Just like really, going through the whole tapping, which is awesome too. Yeah. That's great. 4.5 years. Wow.
It is a
Sets
big
you
part of
up.
my life. I think it makes me much more grateful for today.
Yeah. Yeah. And gratitude is so important in this journey as well, or just in our life. Gratitude changes your brain. So that's amazing. I love it. Another thing I have to try, Ruby, you have the best things to try. So
You do too.
if we can link to that one in Audible, and then if people have
Yes.
Audible, they can find that one or they can find their own somewhere. But just this idea of today is a new day, even waking up to that. Today is a new day.
And yes. And the first things you do in the day are so important. And I'll bring this up with that song on another call.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we'll do
yeah,
that
yeah.
later.
Okay.
you have
Okay.
some-
Well, this is the time when we usually close down. This has been a great episode. I feel like it'll be really, really helpful and useful to listeners. So let us know when you try some of these tactics. Like we have a tactic in one or more in every episode, and we would love to hear from you about how they're working for you and if you've tried anything and if it's been helpful. So please, please, please get in touch. We love to hear from you, and we will say goodbye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Feel It Alcohol Free Podcast. Do you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show?
All you need to do is head over to Apple Podcasts and do 2 simple things. Leave a rating and review telling us what you think of the show. And in that review, ask us any questions you have about breaking free from wine or living an alcohol-free lifestyle.
That's it. Then tune in to hear your question answered live. Don't forget to grab your copy of A Wine-Free Weekend at www.feelitpodcasts.com.
And remember, do something today that will help you feel lit.
See you next time.